Hi, so I thought I would make just a short video, or I don't know if it'll be short actually, but a video of making a knife. So I've made a few knives. I think the first one I made was probably last year out of an old file, but then moved on to making them out of tool steel. So here's one I made. So I made a couple like this, one for a friend and one for myself. Quite nice. So it's just some reclaimed wood, I'm not sure what it is. It's a hardwood. 01 tool steel, some brass liners, brass pins. I made this one for my son, so it's quite a mini one, quite cute. So I wanted to make a bigger one, a bit more of a bushcraft knife, so I'm going to make it out of this piece of tool steel. So I just kind of roughly drew the shape that I want to make, and then I cut it out roughly with an angle grinder. Be fun. So now it's a rough cut, very rough. I will shape it a bit more with my belt sander. So it's got this pretty basic machine marked or Clark belt sander, which, you know, I did think about getting a bigger one or making one, but to be fair I don't really make that many knives, so this one suffices. It's quite good. Oops, shit. Don't spill water everywhere. Well, it seems to be draining away somewhere behind my bench. Yeah, so I made this new table for it so that I can fit this little jig that I made. So I'll use this in a minute, I'll show you what I use it for, but it's for getting the bevel angles right. So it's just a hinge welded to these nice bits of high carbon steel, or medium carbon steel. I'll show you that later. Just get a new coarse belt on there. yeah, so I've got this little device that I made so that I can get consistent bevel angles on it. So I can, I can clamp the blade in here with these clamps. I can, I've got various holes so I can move it around, put it in different places. And then I've got this adjustment screw here, which I can screw up for a steeper angle, screw down for less of an angle. So we just slide it along like this. So let's have a go. So you can probably see, got a bit of a bevel starting here. I'm going to flip it over and do a bit on the other side. So there we go, we have almost a full Scandinavian grind, so just one bevel all the way. I've still not decided whether to put a secondary bevel on there, because the other knives that I've made with full Scandi grinds, like this one, I think maybe it makes the blade a bit weak at the end because it's so thin. So I might just put a secondary bevel on this one, because this is going to be probably a bit more of a sort of hard wearing knife. So next I'm going to drill some holes for the pins to go through to secure the handle, and also probably put some extra holes in to lighten the back end of the knife, and also to help the adhesive, the epoxy resin, to bond the handle on. So I'll make a few centre punch marks where I'm going to drill holes. A place for the lanyard hole. Should be enough. So I've got a little bit of a makeshift furnace for heat treating, just a propane bottle, a sort of medium-sized torch that's built within some fire bricks, which I can sort of take apart and custom build to whatever size and shape I need. It's quite helpful. pretty hard. Next we need to temper it. So that means heating it up to a much lesser temperature, around 200-250 degrees I think, in the oven for a couple of hours, and then letting it cool down naturally, and that just brings a bit of softness back to the steel, which enables it to be flexible. Otherwise you end up with a situation like this. A knife that I made, I hardened and tempered but not very well, and it just shattered. Blade snapped while I was trying to drive these pins through it. Put it in for a couple of hours. Hi. So it's actually a couple of weeks since I last did anything to this knife. In that time, a couple of days after I last was filming, I discovered I had a piece of metal in my eye. Delightful. So I had to go to the hospital and get that taken out. Hopefully I've learnt, but possibly not. I have had that situation a few times now, so make sure you always wear goggles or eye protection. Anyway, yes, so I'm going to make the handle and the brass liners. I'm going to make the handle out of this piece of hardwood, which is from a pallet. Yeah, it's from Thailand apparently, that's what these markings mean. I don't know what it is, it's a tropical hardwood of some description, it's very nice. I've used quite a lot of this in the past. It comes from a pallet where, well, a company that sell stoves that I fit quite a lot of. Hunter stoves, they come on these nice pallets. Yeah, I've used this wood previously for handles and also to make our floor in our hallway. So, let's just cut this down a bit. Okay, so I've actually messed that up. Great. Yeah, maybe I'll cut it by hand. I'll cut it down the middle so I get the two sides of the handle. Or I could just use two sides like this and spend a long time sanding them down. No, I think I'll cut it by hand. Okay, I've changed my mind. I'm going to use this bit of pallet wood. Same company, same source, Thailand. A bit easier because it's already a thickness I can use. So I just need to find a couple of good bits on there. It's got some nice kind of swells and stuff on it. So I've outlined it here, I'll just rough cut it out now. gets sharp. Maybe I shouldn't have sharpened it up quite so much yet. Go. So I can put a couple of bolts through there and then sand the handle back to the profile of the handle on the blade, or the shank. Shank, is that what it's called? I don't know. Tang, sorry. So just give this a sanding to bring the wood back flush with the tang, and then once I've done that I'll shape the individual handles. So we've got very rough, it's very rough. Now I will take the individual sides off and sort of work them into a nice shape. So now, much the same process as the wood with the brass. So these are just brass liners, or there will be brass liners, just for decoration really. Makes it look a bit more pretty. I'll just swap the blade on this bandsaw to cut the brass. There's a metal cutting blade I'm putting in. It's not that great really. I was hoping it would be a bit better for cutting through the actual blade material, but it's just not up for it. Not sure if it's the pitch of the teeth or what really. But yeah, it does. It's a job alright for cutting the wood and the brass. It's a pretty cheap bandsaw from Screwfix. It's quite fun actually. Have to make a jigsaw puzzle. So I've got a very rough cutout now. I'll probably just give it a go on the belt sander to bring it back to this line, and then again drill a couple of holes, or 3 holes, 2 holes for the pins, 1 for the lanyard, bolt it, or temporarily bolt it onto the knife, and then work it together with the wooden handle. So I'll just pop in the shed and drill these holes again, but I probably won't film that bit because I can't be bothered to move the camera again. So I've got these drilled. I'm just holding them together with a couple of bolts onto the wood so I can sand it away a bit more accurately. So now I've bolted it all together, I'm just going to continue sanding round to get this nice. Right, so we're probably just about at the stage where I can just kind of clean everything up a little bit and then stick it all together, and then I'll finish off. Well, I'll finish it all off once it's all stuck together, making the handle nicer, blending everything in a bit better. Just reaming out these holes a little bit, just so that I'm certain that the pins will go through. And also leave a little bit of space for some epoxy resin to penetrate through where the pins go. Otherwise the pins will probably just squeeze it all out. It's good to get a bit in there. So I've mixed up this 2-part epoxy, Araldite. I'm going to use this to stick it all together. Going to work fairly quickly because it's Araldite Rapid. So I'm not too worried about getting it all over the place because I'll just wipe it off later. Pretty messy. Some of these welding clamps from, I got them for my 18th birthday when I received an oxyacetylene welding kit from my parents, which is a pretty cool present. And this toolmaker's clamp, which I made at college when I was 16 or 17. I remember at the time thinking, what am I going to use that for? I've used it quite a lot since. Quite handy. So I've just got another little G-clamp to clamp the back. Yeah, it's incredibly messy. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare clearing it all up, but it's possible. So maybe in the future it is a good idea to not be so bloody messy with it. But So it's a couple of hours since I put the glue on. I've just been sanding the glue off and shaping the handle more. Still pretty rough, got a bit more to do, but I've removed quite a bit of material to kind of bring it in, out and in at the top. Yeah, so I'll just carry on with that. I'm using quite a coarse grit at the moment. I'll move on to a fine one shortly. So it's almost there. Got pretty much the shape I want. Handle's looking quite nice. Just gonna give it a bit of a rub manually with hand sandpaper from the heat treatment. Just polish it up a bit. Still a bit of glue stuck in here. Not sure if I can get that out, but hey ho. So I'll just still need to finish off the blade, but before I start, sorting out the blade on a whetstone, I'll give the handle a bit of an oiling with some Danish oil. This is a stained one, so it's a sort of slightly dark red. It's supposed to be a mahogany kind of colour. It's quite nice. I'll give the handle a bit of an oiling, so that when I come to give the blade a bit of work on the oil stone, I don't stain the handle. I give it a bit of protection now. So here it is, it's finished. I finished off the blade on a couple of whetstones, a fairly coarse one and then a very fine one. And as I said before, it has almost got a full Scandinavian grind, but I added a little secondary bevel on there just to give it a bit of extra strength. I don't know how well you can see it in this light. You see the brass liners, quite nice. Got this leather lanyard or thong. So let's just do a little sharpness test. My favourite method is to see if I can shave with it. So I've actually already shaved a patch off, but a new patch. If you can see that. Pretty good. So that's it, finished. Thanks for watching. Sorry if it was a bit long. Cheers.